Hi, I'm Faye Chappell. Welcome. I'm glad you could join us today. Today with us, we have a really special guest. This is Shay Marville. I think everyone out there knows her. Social innovator, meditation guru, and of course, a business bombshell.
Wow. Wow. You should come with me everywhere I go. I like this.
Well, we're trying.
Yes.
So we have a really great topic for you today, and it's really about how to find your strengths, how to skyrocket your business, using those strengths, and really what motivates you to use them, to figure it out, and maybe you just don't know what your strengths are. So we're going to get right to it. First of all, Shay, thank you for coming and for meeting with us today. So I guess the first question that I always have is, what motivates Shay? What makes you want to strengthen your business?
Well, first of all, I'm a mom. So I need to have flexibility with my kids. But I need to work and I need to support our family, and I really needed to find a way to create work that gave me strength, gave me energy, and allowed me to really look after my kids and to look after my family and be a good partner. And what I noticed is that the more time I spent doing things I didn't like, the worse I felt.
Right.
And so I really needed to find what I connected to and what made me strong. What I noticed about doing something you're good at is that you get even better, and you attract a lot more people who are interested in the same work, who need your help, who need your service, and find value in what you do. And it's really affirming. So I think it was a very interconnected type of motivation to get into my own business, become an entrepreneur, and to start to use mindfulness as a way to reach business people who want to do the same thing.
Great. So I guess a lot of us all struggle with the same thing. How do we know what we're good at? Because I mean, sometimes I think, oh, I don't think I can do that. I just don't think that's my strength. So how do I really know what I'm good at?
Well, the reality is that most of us have heard 27 times a day that what we're not good at, we never really hear about what we are good at.
Right.
So one of the key ways to do it, I think, and I'm a little bit different this way, you know, a lot of people will talk to you about, or coaches will talk to you about, you know, doing what you know and do that well. And that's true. However, there's another piece. It's really magical. It's the word engagement. You have to start thinking about where you are most engaged in your life and where you get the most energy. And then look at what you're actually doing to achieve that engagement and energy. And then use that to start to understand your strength. Use that to start to reflect and think about, oh, what really inspires me to feel good? The reality is that all of us are getting older. We don't have as much energy as we used to. We can't do everything we want to do, but the reality is we are called to be these multidimensional people who are always going. None of us can live that way. So we have to engage with what we're great at. And the really great thing, I was going to say it's weird, but it's not weird, it's just magical, is that when you actually do work that engages you, makes you feel like you're using your strength, allows you to be of service to others, you find more energy.
Right.
Absolutely the truth.
Right. So what would you think, so I'm sitting here listening to you on this broadcast today, and I'm going, okay, well, I'm trying to start this business and I'm exhausted all the time, and you know, it's not working and I'm not getting the clients and the business isn't coming in. What's the first thing I need to do today to really start me on that path to figure it out?
I think you have to stop. You have to stop and you have to become still. As difficult as that is to do, becoming still is where we can find an answer about what is most wanting in us. That is where we can find a place of acceptance. And this is really difficult. You know, you tell someone who's really busy, who's under the gun, who already feels like nothing's working,
right,
to stop. It is the opposite
right.
of what they think they should be doing. But the reality is we've got to actually pull back. You need to go for a walk. You need to focus on your breathing. And then you need to ask yourself some very hard questions. And I'm not talking about doing psychotherapy, which I think is fabulous, but I'm not a psychotherapist. I'm not a doctor. I'm a business coach. So what you actually have to do is ask yourself the honest question. What do I want? Right. What do I most want? And that question, that answer will lead you to the path that you now have to then build. Right? So once you decide what you really want, you then have to do the hard work of creating some steps.
Right.
And I'm not talking about 10 steps. 7 is always a nice number because there's 7 days in the week. Gives you 7 things to do each day, or 1 thing to do for 7 days. But if you can create some steps, like every day I'm going to email the clients that I currently have. And I'm going to send them a note saying why I appreciate them, why they should come back and use my service. Every day, I'm going to find a new client.
Right.
Every day, I'm going to write down why I'm doing this business. Every day, I'm going to write down how much money I need to live.
Right.
And then how much money do I actually want?
And would you consider writing down that? Would you consider that becoming a strength? Is it a talent? Like, what is it that we have to say to ourselves that yes? Because a lot of people are probably saying there, okay, I get it. I want more clients.
Right.
But I can't really do that. I don't understand the next step.
Well, one of the things you have to take out of your vocabulary is can't. Can't
right.
and should not. And then you have to, I use the 2 words that really scare people. You have to create some task for yourself.
Right.
And you actually have to create a discipline for yourself. And
right.
before you turn off about discipline, and I've had people say, I'm actually not into discipline. It scares me. I'm not a disciplined person. I've never been disciplined. We have a total misunderstanding about discipline. Discipline is a process
right.
to achieve a goal.
Right.
So once we know what our goal is, like let's say our goal is to achieve $80,000 a year, or $150,000 a year, or $500,000 a year. That's our goal.
Right.
We need to create a list of steps to actually achieve that goal. And then the process of doing that every day is your discipline.
Right.
So every day I get up, I am still. I reflect on the value of being alive. I sit with that for a while. Mm-hmm. As difficult as that can be, I sit with that. I give myself some respect. Then maybe I have a coffee or a tea.
Good point.
Then I go for a walk, or I do some jumping jacks to get the energy going. Next step, write down what you want to achieve today. Just one thing that you want to achieve. You would be shocked, Faye, honestly. Well, I mean, you know this because you do it. But, those of you who aren't doing it, you will be shocked at how affirming it is when you start to achieve the goal that you have written down.
Right. So what would you think would be a really great goal for day 1? I'm sitting here listening to you and I'm like, okay, I get it, Shay. I really want to focus on what I'm good at and my strengths, and I really want to do it. What do I need to do? So if you had 3 things that we can offer the people that are listening today,
good. 3 things.
3 things that we can say, this is what you need to start with, what would they be?
I think there's a number I really like, 3.
Yes.
And I think if you can identify 3 things. 1, what am I strong at? What is a strength for me? And be brutally honest. Is it walking, running, taking the dog out for a walk? Is it cooking? Is it doing yoga? Is it coaching others? Is it eating? Is it loving food? Like whatever it is. Is it praying? Find one thing you really like and they're strong at.
And a lot of people struggle with that point. A lot of people struggle
Why?
with what they're good at, because what they think they're good at and maybe what they're good at are completely different things. And not because of they're lacking it, but I think, you fall into that unfortunate thought pattern that says, this is what I should be good at.
Right. And it's not just that, it's that we've been told for decades what we should be good at. It's not just what we think, it's what others have been telling us. And the reality is that we get a lot of information about ourselves from other people.
Right.
And it's learning to turn away. No, I wouldn't say turn off. It's not it's hard to turn other people off, but it's being able to turn away and say, I actually know myself.
Right.
I know what I care about.
Right.
I know what I'm good at. So you need to find one thing that you are really strong about at, and write that down.
Okay.
And then there's something else, and this requires more reflection. It requires a lot of love for yourself and thoughtfulness. What is my purpose? This is a truly profound question. It's one that you may think, what does that have to do with my business? What does it have to do with making money? The reality is, for many of us, we are purpose-driven people.
Right.
We are purpose-driven workers. We are not driven by a number. We're not driven by achievement or title. We are driven by, am I of service to others?
Yeah.
Do I feel good in this moment of doing this work? Have I impacted someone in a positive way, or a group of people in a positive way? And when you can answer that question and then connect it to your strength, you've got the beginnings of a plan.
One of the key things that I love to tell people about this, and that's exactly what you're saying, is because it fits both of those at the same time. Sometimes when people don't get it, I always go back to them and say, what do people thank you for?
Yeah, it's a good question.
What do people thank you for? Because
over and over again.
When you hear it, you realize, you know what? That's what I'm good at.
Yes.
So that is one of your strengths. And in fact, it's actually one of your purposes as well.
Exactly. Well, and it also connects very uniquely to your purpose on the earth.
Right.
Right? And when you start to see yourself not just as an individual, but something bigger, and I don't mean from an egocentric point of view, but from an energetic point of view, that we are here to be of service to each other and to the earth, and to look after each other. And when you identify your purpose, when you know your strength, you know your purpose, guess what? It is so much easier to put a plan in place. And if for the next 7 days you are able to, actually 21 days, if you do 7, 7, 7, you have your strength, you have your purpose, and then every day you do something to drive those two things.
So that's the critical step number 3.
Number 3 is engagement. Right? Number 3, and if the engagement then actually gives you the affirmation, the real affirmation, the 3D affirmation that you can do this, that's where you get your confidence, and that's how you start your business, building your business. Then you write the business plan.
Right. I guess that's where most people fail. They fail on that, they've got this great idea and they've said, yes, I'm good at this and I can go through with this. And then when it comes to the whole engagement part, that's where it breaks down.
Right. And the problem with that also is that when you get to the part where you have to create a business plan, it sometimes can be so intimidating for people. Number 1, they don't believe in themselves. Number 2, they're thinking that they can be a little bit laissez-faire. It's a little bit like improv theater. And the reality is, improv theater is only good in improv theater.
Absolutely.
It's not good when you have to make business decisions and you have to drive a business, create more business, look for business, and ultimately get paid and pay other people. You have to have some goals that you're going to achieve, and the only way you can do that is if you have some targets. So you have to have those 3 steps. You have to know your strength, you have to have a purpose, and then you have to get engaged.
Excellent. That is really great advice. So I thank you for that, because really the key in all of this is getting people started. And it's taking that very first step that we can say, all right, I'm ready to go, so I get it, let's go forward. So hopefully our listeners will take what you've said to heart and start right away to start implementing that. We're going to, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to get together with Shay on an ongoing basis and continue with the discussion just to make sure that everyone's on track. So what I would suggest to keep you engaged, if you've liked this conversation and you really want to commit and get started and start with those steps, I want you right below here, there's comments, and you know what gets written is real.
Yes.
So go ahead, write it down, say, you know what, I'm ready to do it, I want to start. If you have any questions for Shay, excuse me, then go ahead, list those as well, and she'll be sure to get back to you.
We're just beginning. We're just beginning. On the surface.
So thank you again, and come back and visit us soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Faye.
Thank you.